We're going to talk about the two different domains of our work. One is our work in the Amazon with our indigenous partners, and the other is our educational work in the modern world. We'll start with the Amazon. So the highlighted area in this map is the region in Ecuador where we have been working, the Pachamama Alliance has been working for 20 years now to protect this territory, almost 20 years, coming up on 20 years. And initially it was at the invitation of the Achuar people, but then over time at the invitation of all of the Achuar's neighbors, the Quechua, Shuar, Shiwiar, and the Zapara. But there's a bigger story here that I want to tell you about this region. And there's another map, and this map shows the concentrations of biodiversity across the entire Amazon basin. The colored areas are areas of excessive biodiversity. The white is not no biodiversity. The white is sort of the baseline for the Amazon basin. But this is a measure of biodiversity of concentrations of plants, animals, fish, insects. The interesting thing is if you look out in the far west area of the Amazon basin, that red area, that's the area of highest biodiversity in the entire Amazon basin, probably then the highest biodiversity in the world. And that's the area where we've been working for the last nearly 20 years. So we've known from the beginning this was an important, very important area to protect, but when it's revealed that it's actually kind of the source, the life force of nature comes into the world through this area in an abundant way, that there's probably countless undiscovered cures for human disease out there not found yet. It's clear this area is an area that needs to be protected, and when we saw this context, that this is really the source of life on our planet, we even have a stronger stand for protection. So I want to say that then thanks to the Pachamama Alliance's work and our partnership with indigenous people over the years and collaborations that we do with other organizations. And one organization that I know there's representatives of here today that we've worked with for years now, Amazon Watch. There's people from Amazon Watch here. We've really worked together closely, and as a result, this area on that map, about 7 to 8 million acres, is still untouched. There's no oil development in that area. There's no extractive industries. And the work that the Pachamama Alliance has been doing there on the ground, which you saw some of it in the video, but I'll just mention some of the projects that we've done again. We do trainings for legal rights for the people to learn their legal rights under Ecuadorian law and international law. We've set up and financed an indigenous-owned aviation service that allows them to keep the need for roads out of their territory. We've conducted community health projects, and specifically we focused on one for birthing and infant and maternal care practices, the Jungle Mamas program. And we've helped usher in rights of nature as a fundamental part of the Ecuadorian Constitution. Thank you. So the combination of all of those projects together and the work that we've been doing now for 20 years with the indigenous organizations that have been created there, the indigenous people themselves are phenomenally well organized and have developed their own vision of a development model for their territory that's based on indigenous concepts and not Western economic concepts. The basic driving idea behind their model of development is a thing called sumac kausai, or buen vivir, and it's a concept of sufficient living and harmonious living, and that's the vision that they see as opposed to the model that we have of growth and accumulation, domination. So the people in this territory now are powerful advocates for this territory setting a new model of development for the world, setting an example of what indigenous people can do when given the opportunity to develop along their own cosmovision. However, 2 years ago, the government of Ecuador announced plans for oil development in this exact territory. And this map shows the grid of intended oil concessions that the government of Ecuador wants to offer to oil companies. And the government's plans are really faltering. They're not going forward very quickly, mainly because of the really powerful opposition from the indigenous people themselves. However, 2 blocks have been granted. And these blocks, blocks 79 and 83, are blocks that are right in the middle of Zapara territory, in the pristine part of Zapara territory. And they're kind of they open up a gateway down into the southern part of the Amazon that would move oil development through there down into the Achuar territory, Quichua, Shuar, to the area where we've been working. So this last year, we've really refocused, the Pachamama Alliance has really refocused our work. Actually, we haven't, I'd say refocused, we've upped our work. We're still doing the work with all of the groups in that territory, but we've really paid attention to Zapara territory and these oil blocks. The oil companies are already trying to send representatives in to talk to the communities, to make offers of the sort of modern equivalent of trinkets and beads, to divide the communities and convince them to accept petroleum development. We've been doing workshops with the group, with the communities, informing them of their rights, informing them of the impact of oil development. We've helped set up a radio-based communication network so their diverse communities can be connected with each other. And we're in the process of doing helping them set up an environmental monitoring system of their entire territory. So the lessons we've learned working with the Achuar over the years, we're bringing to this territory, and it's critical that the territory we've gained with the work with the indigenous people over the years is protected by us really drawing the line at the oil frontier and drawing it above and out of Block 79 and 83. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to some of our partners who are on the front lines working in that area. But first, I want to acknowledge Belen Paez. Where is Belen? Just so I can. So, wait. You're going to there's even more. So Belen has been the director of our foundation in Ecuador for the last 16 years, Fundación Pachamama. And Belen's widely respected throughout Ecuador, actually throughout the world, for the work she's done, the effectiveness of her work with indigenous people. And this last year, we and she sort of got what was an unwanted acknowledgement in the form of the Ecuadorian government, without prior notice and without due process, closing our foundation in Ecuador. And the reason they did it, if you looked underneath, it was totally because of the effectiveness of our support for the indigenous people in standing up against the oil frontier. So we take this action by the Ecuadorian government as kind of an underhanded compliment. It really is an acknowledgement of what we've been doing. But what I wanted to acknowledge Belen for was, it was a really difficult year for Belen. A lot of personal stress and emotional stress, and Belen came through that whole year with flying colors. She quickly adjusted and set up new arrangements to the way we work in Ecuador so that our work with the indigenous people could continue and continues, and almost did it without missing a beat. So I just want to thank Belen for this year.